In 1980, the Salesians took up the mission of Kor. Kor, then an outstation of Laisamis Parish, was 540 kilometers away from Nairobi, right in the center of Kaisut Desert in northern Kenya, looked lost in the middle of nowhere. Then Bishop of Marsabit Diocese, Monsignor Charles Cavalera, thought it opportune to invite the Salesians to the Marsabit Technical School, which was then managed by the Swiss Bethlehemite missionaries and their volunteers.
The presence of the Salesians in Marsabit town, it has been accomplished when I was already bishop, because the technical school was there already, and they did wonderful things. They started from nothing.
The Marsabit County occupies the driest region in Kenya, and drought is common in most parts. This county is classified as 100% arid and semi-arid land with very little rainfall. According to the National Population Census Report of 2009, Marsabit County has a population of 291,166. 80% of the population is nomadic pastoralists. 10% practice subsistence agriculture. About 7% are involved in commerce, and the rest 3% are salaried employees. The locals, poor as they are, were too dependable on the missionaries.
The Salesians find it very difficult to fight against this psychology of dependence, which is very hard to die even today, because they used the methodology of human promotion oriented towards evangelization from the very beginning. But you cannot speak of Jesus to people whose stomach is empty. You have to help them to help themselves.
This region is one of the poorest in the country. The poverty level is 92%. The main causes of poverty are frequent severe droughts, inadequate water supplies for domestic and non-domestic use, low agricultural production due to harsh climatic conditions, lack of reliable and lucrative market for livestock products, few employment opportunities, overdependency on relief food and livestock economy, unutilized resources, illiteracy, poor infrastructures that are hardly maintained, insecurities and conflicts, which include ethnic clashes and cattle rustling. To alleviate and eradicate the problems of poverty, illiteracy and unemployment, and ensure social upliftment together with evangelization, the diocese started a catechetical training center and a technical school. This technical school was eventually entrusted to the Salesians.
The two most important institutions that my predecessor, Bishop Cavalera, did besides evangelizing in the parish was the catechist training centers and the technical school.
Together with the pastoral care, the Salesians focused also on the material needs of the poor. Technical training was a vehicle by which they sought to give the people a sense of dignity and self-reliance.
The idea came of asking the Salesians who were already in Kor, 1 year after settled down here, why don't we give them to the Salesians? And they have accepted it. And they were here for 3 full years.
But due to various difficulties, in 1985 the Salesians left their presence in Marsabit.
But then for a while they left. Now, thank God they're coming back.
The new history in the presence of Salesians of Don Bosco in Marsabit started when Bishop Peter Kihara requested the Salesians to return to Marsabit to revive the dilapidated technical school. After a preliminary study, the Salesians took up the mission in July 2012 with the hope of salvaging the technical school.
When the Salesians' father succeeded in coming back now, we were very happy, because your charism is to help the youth one way or another. So the only thing now that it seems that it takes, Father knows, it takes a little longer to renew the dilapidated school, which was left over a few years, and also raise the academic input.
There is a huge demand from the diocese and its 12 parishes, stretched across hundreds of kilometers, for quality technical education. The Salesians intend to skill young people, both boys and girls of the place, by providing them technical education based on solid moral values.
The project is to have 3 distinctive areas of the center. One It will be our residence and the volunteer house and the farm and so on. This one. Then the school itself supposed to be boundary with the wall and the learning centers here inside, which in the plan is not to have only the boarding people but also the day scholars, and mixed with the boys and girls if possible. Of course, the issue of the girls is very sensitive here, but we want to promote the girls here in this area and to give them an opportunity also for study. Means particularly will be for the girls as usually tailoring, but also a secretarial study, and hopefully if we will manage some kind of beauty, hairstyle and whatever, even in this area will be good to have it. And then this complex here is supposed to have 7 different trades.
The proposed school will provide formal and non-formal training in carpentry, masonry, plumbing, metal workshop, electrical, motor mechanics, tailoring, secretarial and computer studies.
The expectation of the technical school is very important. There is paramount importance. Why? There are many reasons. This area of the North Kenya was somehow forgotten by the government. Everything that was done, both as far as religions, and then also human development, people owe to the churches, Catholic Church, the Anglican churches, and other churches,
Poverty, inadequate facilities at home, long distance and lack of proper convenience are some of the challenges faced by the students. As a remedy to this situation, the Salesians hope to build hostels for the youth from poor economic background and from faraway villages.
The parish priests are really planning to send the students here from very far. Some parishes are even 500 kilometers from here, and they really need boarding facilities, and that's what we are planning to build here, the schools provided with the good boarding facilities.
These youngsters have a natural inclination for dance, music and sports. The technical school will also uphold their rich cultural heritage by giving them opportunities to preserve and develop their talents. Don Bosco Technical Education is an education with the heart. The friendly presence of the Salesians and the homely atmosphere will help the students to learn community living and appreciation for each other. The erosion of the better skilled locals and the immigration of the skilled men from outside leave the locals illiterate and always in destitution. This phenomenon can be changed only through skilling the poorest of the poor, and that is the challenge of the Salesians at Marsabit.
I think if we will be given the opportunity, we will really appreciate, and even for our youths who are in our hometown, they are really waiting for this school to start because they want to join and better benefit their future.
When the young men or women left primary school, let's not speak of secondary school, which is even worse, what did they do if they did not pass well to go to a secondary school down country or one existing here and go further?
The establishment of the Vocational Training Institute in Marsabit, targeting the primary and secondary school dropouts, will respond to the above-mentioned gap by contributing towards capacity development and having a workforce that is readily available to provide the needed manpower in masonry, motor vehicle mechanic, and also computer and secretarial services in Marsabit County. The project will therefore target young people of Marsabit and Samburu aged 18 to 30 years for livelihood development and provision of life skills training.
Why the technical school? To give a job to young men.
Looking at the future, it seems very bright, but the road is rough and arid like Marsabit itself. The task is challenging and one needs patient endurance. The Salesians are banking on the Lord and goodwill of their supporters.
But let me add one last thing, that we could forget. We could forget. No country will reach a point of development, financially and otherwise, to the point of not having poor within his own bosom. Therefore, we should never forget the charism of the church is charity. Charity.